So as was said earlier, very eloquently by a fellow veteran of mine back there in the crowd, I want to reiterate what he said about the City of Benson government works for the people. You serve the people, each and every one of you. We do not serve you. And as you saw last week, I'm sure all of you, if not, I'm sure you all saw the video last week in the inappropriate behavior on behalf of the chairman of the Planning and Zoning Commission. He fired the first salvo when he told a lady in the audience, good luck with that, when she said, I'll just contact the district attorney's office. He set the stage. Sorry, what?
Attorney General.
Attorney General, I'm sorry, Attorney General. He set the stage for the us versus them attitude. This is why we're angry, folks. This is why we are PO'd. I'm trying to be polite here. It's that kind of behavior. We're angry also because the covert nature, as has already been said, I'm not saying anything new here, of how ADI was brought into this city. It was brought in under the radar, just like when the Indianapolis Colts left Baltimore. They did it under the cover of night, and that city was mad. And that's why we're mad. You're bringing poison into our city, our area, beyond the city limits. You're taking our water, and we don't get a say in it. That's why we're angry, and that is not what your job is. Your job is to reflect what the people want. Each and every one of you sitting around this room today. I also want to remind you that the Arizona Department of Commerce, in their handbook on page 42, says very clearly that planning and zoning commissions are, quote, advisory only. They do not set policy. They do not approve permits. They advise only. It goes on to say, and for the sake of time, I didn't print it all out or type it all out, but it does say that only the elected body makes the permit approval. It was already mentioned about the general development plan, but I'm going to reiterate that too. If we go through with this ADI plan, we're violating the general development plan for Benson in regards to visual appeal, land use, and environmental planning. And again, I would take more than 3 minutes just to talk about where you're all going to violate that. So my question is, why do we waste paper and come up with a general development plan if the city government wants to bring in an entity, an industry, that is going to be contrary to that general development plan? And Mr. Volker had mentioned earlier 2 things about tourism. He mentioned about classic cars off Main Street. Do we really think we're going to attract tourists for classic cars when we have a monstrosity down the big curves? He also mentioned about the golf course. Well, per ADI's permit request they submitted to ADEQ, and I just read it again this morning, at least that page, and it says that gray water will be funneled off into the golf course. What's going to be in that gray water? We don't know yet. Because again, we've been kept in the dark. We have no idea what's going to be brought into our city. So our tourists really don't want to come out there risking having children with 2 heads or no arms. We don't know what's going to be in that water. I know I'm exaggerating a little bit to make my point, but that's why we're mad. We're not getting information from you, and we're being lied to by ADI. And we're being trolled on social media trying to muddy the waters there. Last thing I want to bring up is announcements to meetings. It's 21st century. Why can't we put these announcements on social media? I still use a flip phone, but I know how to use Facebook. I know how to use Nextdoor.com. Cochise County makes announcements on Nextdoor.com and Facebook. Why can't we? We're limited. You seem like we're only limited to just announcing in the newspaper in Sierra Vista and posting outside City Hall. Well, I didn't get a welcome aboard packet when I moved here that said, in order to find out what's going on in the City of Benson, you must go down to City Hall every day and check what the latest is. Guess what? We all work. We don't have time for that. And I'm sorry, but it is modern times. Let's use social media, get the word out. Or could that be why we don't want the word getting out? Because we want to do these little things like we're doing with ADI right now.
Exactly.
Thank you.